Before you watch the video, check out IPVanish, the best VPN out there. There's so many fans out there that want to watch different games. Today, for example, it was a 3 o'clock kickoff. You wouldn't have been able to watch it, okay, unless you had a VPN in the UK. So check out IPVanish. There is a link below. There's also a QR code on screen as well. It makes your life better. It gives you access to all the games that you would have never been able to watch otherwise. And enjoy the rest of the video. Hello everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. Chelsea 1, Sunderland 2 in the Premier League. I'm here with Charlie. It was all going so well, and as with any journey, you have bumps along the way. This was a very painful one.
Mate, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Sunderland. They fully deserved it. They played well, and they deserved the 3 points. But from our perspective, that today was an absolute disgrace, mate. It was abysmal, shocking, embarrassing performance. You know, we start well. We get the goal. And it's a nice goal. You know, Pedro Neto passes it out to Garnacho, takes his man on, and fires a shot through the goalkeeper's legs. And you're thinking, sort of, we're 1 up in the first 5 minutes. Okay, let's go for it. Let's kill the game off. Let's get 2 or 3 in this first half and put the game to bed. That's what I was hoping was going to happen. That's what I was kind of expecting to happen after that early goal. But from the goal onwards, we were a joke, mate. We were absolutely pathetic performance. So predictable. Same performance against sides that come and sit deep against us. We can't break them down. We just knock it side to side. Pathetic, aimless possession. Side to side, passing it backwards. And then we just put balls into the box and there's no one there. And it's rinse and repeat. And that has been the same problem for years with us against sides that come and sit deep. And people say, oh, you know, why can't Chelsea challenge for the title? You know, why don't you believe in this team more? Exactly for games like today. Because if you cannot win these sorts of games, you're never going to challenge for a title. You have to be able to beat sides that are going to come to your ground and sit deep. And we simply can't do it. And this is why we're not going to do anything major this season, mate. This was really, really poor. And there's not really much more to say for it. Maresca got outclassed today. Regis Labrie outclassed him. And Maresca has got to take some responsibility as well. Even if he'd left Action-Pong on, we probably don't win that game anyway. The performance was still shocking. But as a direct correlation of his substitution, Action-Pong off, Tosin off, we concede the goal. The defending, by the way, not only for the long throw-in, pathetic defending in the first half. You would have thought, right, Sunderland and Brentford have done the most long throws in the Premier League this season. You would have thought we maybe be prepared for it. Concede against Brentford last minute, first long throw of the afternoon, we concede a goal. Pathetic defending all round from everyone. Pinball in the box and they smash it home. So you concede from a long throw-in and then you concede from a massive hoof upfield in added time. Tosin comes on for what? Experience? Maybe to deal with Robbie? Physicality? I don't know what. Action-Pong defended well. And Tosin was absolutely embarrassing defensively for that goal. Him and Chalobah were woeful for that. And the bigger problem for me is, mate, is that outside of Reece James and Cucurella, and Caicedo to an extent as well, we are relying on 2 teenagers in Josh Action-Pong and Esteval to hold this team down. Do you know how embarrassing that is from Chelsea perspective? That when you look at all the money we've spent, all the players that we've signed, and your front 3 is Mark Guiu with Pedro Neto and Garnacho. It's not good enough, mate. It is simply not good enough. It is absolutely disgraceful that we find ourselves in that position. It really is. And
you're using a lot of strong words.
No, because it is, mate.
Abysmal, pathetic, disgraceful.
It is. Well, nothing was good today. The first 3 minutes were good until we got the goal. From that point onwards, I'm sorry, it was absolutely awful. And we got everything that we deserved in that game. You know, players not performing to the level required. Centre-backs not good today other than Action-Pong. Wingers, Garnacho after he scored was non-existent. Pedro Neto, you know, I do like him, he works hard, he does a bit here and there. If you're a serious team, Pedro Neto's a rotation option. Gittins is not good enough right now. And we're reliant on Esteval to try and make things happen. Esteval comes on today and we didn't really get him in the game. We didn't get in the ball. Mark Guiu is not good enough, full stop. We know this, but, you know, we had to play him because it's better than playing João Pedro up there. There needs to be a João Pedro conversation about his recent form. Not doubting his quality as a player, about his recent form, because he's becoming a net negative for this team. Him and Guiu, particularly in that first half, or really for the whole time they were both on the pitch, anonymous. absolutely anonymous, disappearing acts. You know, they were doing a Houdini, they had the Harry Potter invisibility cloak on. There was nothing from either of them. And you can say, oh, we didn't really play through the middle, and that is true, we didn't really play through the middle. But even the few occasions they did have the ball, there was nothing from them, absolutely nothing. And Maresca waited so long to take them off. I just look at the quality of attacking players we've got, and Esteval, I do really like him, but Garnacho's not on the level right now. Neither's Gittins. Pedro Neto's good, but he doesn't produce enough game-winning moments that you need from wide players. And Joao Pedro's at the start of his career, but he's not really a 9. And so I'm looking at all this money we've spent. I'm looking at the squad. I'm looking at our attacking quality, and it's not good enough, mate. And you just look at it, and how are we still struggling to win games like this? Why?
Well, I mean, I think you said it yourself to a point. Sunderland were very good. I mean, they were.
No, but mate, we can't do this. Like, you give them praise, but come on, we're Chelsea. We've won the Club World Cup. You know, we've got that World Champions badge on the chest, and a newly promoted side who had admittedly started very well this season and deserve credit for that. They came here and they did a job on us. They did a job on us. They sat deep, they soaked up the pressure, and they hit us with one hoof, and they hit us, and they were comfortable, mate. They were comfortable. Did you really ever think that we were going to score again after they equalised? Did you really think that? Because I knew, when it went into the second half and you get into 60, 70 minutes, I knew we weren't winning that game. It was only going one way and we were probably going to lose. Yeah. And it's just really disappointing because every time you feel like this team is building some momentum, you take one step forward with a win against Liverpool, you follow it up with a Forest win and whatnot, we get 3 wins in a row, 4 wins in a row, all comps, right? And you're like, right, let's get 5 wins in a row, let's build some momentum. And then we just take 2 steps backwards and come crashing back down to earth with a shocking performance. And this sums us up. This summarises what we are right now. And questions have got to be asked about the quality of this squad, the players that have been signed, because we can't keep allowing, these sporting directors just sit in their ivory towers, whatever they're doing. They don't get any criticism, no nothing. There's no sort of spotlight on them. All the money we've spent, and everybody says it, but some Chelsea fans still can't see it. This squad is not good enough to do anything serious. It simply isn't.
What would you like, winning the Premier League, winning an FA Cup?
This squad is not going to win the Premier League. A cup competition, we can probably do something in a cup competition because it requires consistency for 5, 6, 7 games. We could probably win it. We can win a domestic cup this season, but in terms of that week in, week out consistency in the Premier League, and in terms of us actually making a serious effort to move up the table and close the gap on the teams in front of us, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, your Cities, it's not good enough, mate. We're miles off that. We are so far away right now. And the exact reason for that is games like today. We cannot break down low blocks. That simple.
I've spoken to a couple of fans, Steve being one of them from Andover. He said it's a blip. He thinks that this is just a one-off. It's not going to happen again.
It's not a one-off, mate. This has been a problem for years. Not being able to break down low blocks, losing games like this. This is nothing new. And do you know what? Do you know what the worst thing is? It was a lifeless performance from us, and it wasn't even that unpredictable. It really wasn't. It really wasn't that unpredictable. And it's just a worrying pattern that's occurring right now. That we just take a step forward and you think things are going in the right direction, and then you take 2 steps backwards.
What about the setup? Let's talk tactics. Let's talk about what Maresca did. Why don't you think it worked?
Because the players didn't perform to a good enough level. Like, I didn't have a problem with the lineup or the setup. It's what we expected. There were going to be a load of changes from the Ajax game, and I didn't have a major issue with the starting lineup. It was pretty much exactly as I predicted myself, other than Chalobah starting at the back. I would have had Fofana, but I mean, look, I didn't have any issue with that. And we started the game really brightly. But why, whenever we score an early goal, why do we never kill games off? Why can we never take advantage when we're in the ascendancy? This happens all the time. We go a goal up, we don't take advantage of it. We allow other teams back into the game. And that was another example of it today. We were awful defensively. We were shocking in midfield today. Caicedo had one of his worst games in a long time. Enzo Fernandez was struggling in there as well. The substitutions, I didn't really get it. What was the point of putting Andre Santos on? Gittins did very little when he came on. Obviously, you're going to make a change there, but if you actually want to give these guys a chance to do something, you've got to give them a bit more time than like 10, maybe 12 minutes. So just a really disappointing afternoon, mate, and just not good enough all round. And Maresca's got to take responsibility for the substitution of tossing for Achimpong that led to the second goal, basically.
Yeah, talk me through the second goal. Like, what was your feeling when it was happening? Because it all happened very slowly. It wasn't something that, you blink and next thing they've scored. They held the ball up for a long time.
I mean, it was a big hoof upfield, and tossing is 1v1 defending is awful. The guy, obviously, I can't remember this under the players, but controls it on his chest. Tossing, instead of like getting tight to him, just stands off him and thinks, oh, he's not going to go for him. He's not going to play it off me. Chalobah just standing there as well. He plays it across, and the guy puts a lovely finish in. Maybe Reece is slightly caught out of position, maybe a little bit, but from two experienced centre-backs in Chalobah and Tosin to not deal with one guy in the box from a long hoof upfield is, quite frankly, embarrassing. Really, really poor. And it once again highlights, why didn't we go and sign a top-quality centre-back in the summer? Why?
And you could say something similar for the first goal.
Yeah, and exactly the same. At sixes and sevens, what are we doing here? You know that these teams are going to launch balls into the box. Why are you not prepared? The very first one of the afternoon. It's just not good enough, mate. It's really not good enough.
Why do you think Enzo and Caicedo struggled so much? Especially Caicedo. I mean, it's very, very unusual. I can't remember the last time we said that.
Yeah, very rare. I mean, look, you can't play well every week, It was an unfortunate game for him. It wasn't awful, but he obviously struggled a bit. I don't really know. I don't really have the answers for that. But Enzo, was kind of caught in two minds in this game. Did you want him a bit further up? Did you want him deeper, dictating play, maybe creating some chances? And in the end, we didn't really get either of those things from him.
I saw him running a lot, but not necessarily doing a lot, if that makes sense. You're covering a lot of ground.
Yeah, but again, look, to be honest, mate, no one really had a particularly good game. We have to be honest. No one really impacted that game in a positive way at all, I don't think. Even when Esteval came on, we needed him to come on right. But even then, we didn't get the ball to him enough. We shifted him inside to the 10. We just did not get him on the ball or give him the ball enough. So nothing worked today.
Yeah. What about Sunderland? Who impressed you?
I don't think anyone really stood out. But just as a unit, mate, as a team, they are really good. They defended well. And that's a well-coached side. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone knows their role to a T. And, yeah, they know what they are. They played to their strengths, and they got 2 goals from it.
There you go, Charlie.
Not good enough, mate. Simple.
Thank you, mate. Good to see you.
Right, I'm off.